This is Rating Descending,
where we watch IMDb's Worst 250 so you don't have to.
My name is Abigail Ward.
My name is Michelle St. Clair.
And this week we watched Escape Plan 3, The Extractors. After security expert Ray Breslin is hired to rescue the kidnapped daughter of a Hong Kong tech mogul from a formidable Latvian prison, Breslin's girlfriend is also captured. Let's watch. Are you happy that winter's back on its way, by the way?
Oh my God, I'm so happy that
I
winter's
am too.
back.
Melbourne's getting chilly and I'm fucking enjoying it. I'm wearing coats. I'm
Jumpers.
snuggling in bed with blankets. It's the best.
You know when you're cold and then it gets all warm? Oh my God.
I love that the most.
I love that so much more.
That's my favorite. I love
when
it.
Really hot and I cool
Yeah,
down.
I'd rather not be, you know when it's cold but then you're cold? Not fun. But you know when it's cold but you're warm?
Yeah.
That's good. You know when you're hot but you're kind of, it's hot but you're cool? Not as good.
Not as good.
Not as good.
Being warm when it's cold out is nicer than being cool when it's hot out.
I reckon rank me the seasons for you. What's best, what's worst? Let's go right now.
For me, because I really like winter, it would probably be winter, autumn, spring, summer.
I think I'm autumn, winter, spring, summer. Very close.
Yeah.
I like autumn. This is my favorite kind of day. This is the ultimate day for me. It's autumnal. The leaves are falling. They're dead. The sky is vivid blue, but it's not like burning me. The sun is in the right angle in the sky. There's a chilly wind and I can wear the perfect coat and outfit that I want to wear. And there's a nice, very soft but cool wind.
You know what? You're right. I change it. Autumn, winter, spring, summer. This for me is the good beginning of the year and it's all downhill from here.
100%. It's very on theme with us as we are descending ourselves.
Both of us have the problem of our moods plummet in summer as it gets hot and stuffy and we get angry and upset.
I'm feral in summer. If I get overheated, you know this better than anyone else, but if I'm overheated and I get sweaty and frazzled, it heightens my anxiety and I become fucking atrocious.
You've seen me, like, I get really overwhelmed and anxious in summer and I get really upset, like genuinely quite upset, and I don't feel like I have I want to crawl out of my skin. You get angry.
Yeah.
Angry.
I have a rage within me that is only unleashed
like as soon as it gets
on
over
the 1st
25
of December.
degrees, I'm like, everyone run from Abby.
Yeah, I come home and I'm like, what are you looking at?
Maybe that's why you hated Sex and the City 2 so much. It's just the middle of summer.
Yeah, this is true.
In winter, we're going to be like, wow, these movies are so good. Go off.
Go off. I've got 2.5 hours to spare for Carrie. No, I think so. I become like, I hulk out in the summer. It's just, especially we're from Sydney, and Sydney was it could be quite tropical in summer.
Yeah.
You'd have these really humid days where it's just, you're absolutely wet. You're just moist the whole day. And there's these like low-hanging grey clouds and you just feel like you're getting smothered. And that weather...
You feel like you're swimming
It flips
through
a
heat.
switch in me.
Yeah.
I go from like a perfectly acceptable human being to being an absolute cunt.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you looking at me like that?
Whereas me, when it's cold and I can wear a coat and a scarf, like the other night we went out and it was lightly raining.
You skipped through the rain. You were like,
literally skipped. I sang "It's the most wonderful time of the year." So
also,
good.
winter fashion, so
Yes.
much better.
Way
I love
better.
a coat that swallows me. Maybe a little hat. Very cute.
It's not even close how much better winter fashion is than summer fashion.
100%.
Because summer fashion is basically, I'm skinny and have a hot body, so I'm fashionable.
Yeah.
Winter fashion is, my coat is really nice.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
You know why I hate summer? Fucking beauty standards. I'm talking Girlfriend magazine circa 2008 fucked me up.
Yeah.
And this is a
Harmful
call out
bullshit.
to any millennial girl from Australia. Did you also read Dolly and Girlfriend magazine and have a warped body image because of it? Because because you would open these magazines and they'll be like, how to get a perfect summer bod. And it's a girl in a bikini who is a paid model who is rake thin. And you, a chubby 12-year-old, are like, why don't I look like that?
Yeah.
I'm ugly. I'm hideous. And I will never get a boyfriend because I'll never have a summer bod. So I'll starve myself. But it doesn't work. You just start binge eating.
But you open a magazine and there's a beautiful average to even like fat woman wearing a beautiful coat and you're like, she looks hot and fashionable.
100%.
Fucking incredible.
But what we need to see is also that woman for a summer catalogue in a bikini.
Which we should.
Which I hope kids now get to see some more representation. I
so.
feel like we're a bit more woke about this
So
these
many
days.
fat women are so hot.
Yeah, 100%.
We're really just cutting ourselves. Look, obviously, fat phobia is terrible for a number of reasons, including how it shames a lot of people and causes incredible sense of lack of self-worth. But also, in a more fun, comedic podcast sort of way, we as just people observing other hot people in the world are totally cutting ourselves off from an outrageous number of hot people if we're just not including fat people.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. To divert from the funnies for a second here, I was literally thinking today, I was like, I still have unprocessed fat phobia in myself.
Yeah.
I'm a big enough person to admit that. I think everyone does.
Yeah.
Because it's taught to you.
Yeah,
Like, it's ingrained in you. So, like, it's not like I see fat people, I'm like, oh, you should die. But and I don't really judge them either because fat people are hot. But for me, I actually do have a genuine fear of being fat. And it's because I'm taught that if I'm fat and I'm unlovable. So I make a conscious effort about what I eat and what I do because I don't want to be fat. Because fat phobia still has me wrapped around its little finger.
No, same. I last year was like, I didn't consider myself someone who had problems with fat phobia or anything. I've dated fat women, which is not an actual sign that you don't have problems with fat phobia though. And then last year I gained a little weight because we were inside for 7 months and not doing anything. And I was still terrified. And I was like, oh, my mentality is the kind of mentality that is harmful and more common of, oh, I'm not judging those people, but that's not for me. Because you still see it as something like as bad.
Yeah.
You just go like, oh, I know not to shame those people, but it would be bad for me. But it wouldn't.
Someone brought up a very valid point on TikTok, a bastion of good advice and terrible people. But a woman brought up, she was talking about the female gaze, because we all know about the male gaze and how a lot of women fear the male gaze, but are still kind of trapped by the male gaze and still do things to adhere to the male gaze or to satisfy the male gaze. And that's fine. 100% that's fine. You were taught to do that the same way. This is ingrained. It's society that's the problem, not you. You're fine. But this woman was talking about how she looks at other women and that she's like, oh my God, they're so hot. Like, they're so pretty. And they're not always dressed in a very feminine way. They're usually dressed in quite a masculine or androgynous way. Hang on. However,
oh my God.
Let me live.
Can't get through one fucking point.
Let me live. But I'm a human. Okay.
I don't know if I believe that anymore.
Fucking human.
I don't know if I believe that
I
anymore.
swear to God, I'm a human being.
You can swear to God all you want, but God's not listening.
Oh my God, God is dead and we killed him. Aristotle.
No, not we killed him. I killed him.
Oh my God. Well, if you're God, then I'm the devil.
Oh my me. Oh.
And she was saying she would like look at other women and they would be like, she'd be like, yeah, they're really hot because she's looking at them through her female gaze.
Yeah.
And then she would look at herself, who would present in a similar way and be like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. I'll never look that way. And she was like, oh, because I assess myself through what I think the male gaze is.
Yeah.
So she would look at other women and not judge them and think they're beautiful because they adhere to her standards of beauty. But she imposes the standards of beauty that she believes men have on herself.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's 100% it.
And I do that too, of like, I think tall women are hot, and then I turn around and look in the mirror and go, I'm too tall and big. I think
that's ridiculous. Do you think I'm hot? I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's hot.
You know how much, for example, I love the tummy. The tummy, guys, we underappreciate the tummy as a beautiful part of a woman's body.
It's
of
nature's
a man's body too.
It's nature's pillow. So
it is nature's pillow. Beautiful, warm, soft. You can feel the inner heat radiating. Wonderful stuff. And then I turn around and look at my tummy and go, it's disgusting. Look away. It is crazy the way we internalize those messages. And then because we're taught, when we're taught a lot of social things, we're taught how to recognize it in other people and how we refer to other people. And we don't learn as much how to recognize it in ourselves, which is also the kind of problems we have with internalized racism, internalized homophobia, internalized transphobia, because we're better at recognizing other people's behaviors than our own internal reflections of the world.
yeah,
And we should be better.
we should be. I think that's a valid argument.
We should encourage thinking about it more. I
Yeah.
guess is more what I mean.
100%. It's really hard to work against what you have been taught as a child and as a
Yeah.
person, what you are still spoon-fed through the media, through social media in particular. It's really hard to move past that, especially when there is a lot of women out there being like, yes, body positivity, like I love fat people, I'm all about it, but they themselves also live in the same fear that I do, for instance, of they're terrified of being fat. And they will do anything to not be fat. And it's this weird hypocrisy that a lot of young women in particular carry because we are the people that are affected by it the most. But it's a conscious effort to move past that. And I think once you do, it's very liberating. But it just takes time. On a very different note.
Diverting back to the funnies?
So let's just go back to the funnies.
We're going back to the funnies. Excuse me.
Oh my goodness. Bad movie. This is so silly.
It's the funnies here.
I'm answering the door.
Well, I didn't know
What
that
have you
because
got
you
for
didn't
me?
mime answering a door.
Ooh.
Hello, it's me, Mr. Funny.
Give me the biscuits you're selling me.
Oh, I'm selling some bing bongs and I'm selling some poopy buttholes.
Have you got any hoo-has?
And that's me flashing you, which is not a funny thing to do, but in the case when he's lifting up his pants, it's a box of cookies called hoo-has.
And with a huge sense of relief, we're back to normal.
We did it.
This week we watched Escape Plan 3.
Yeah,
The Extractors. By the way, I still don't understand what the Extractors are necessarily or why it's called that.
I think they're the Extractors because they extract
people
the
from
hostage.
bad situations.
They're extracting the woman who's kidnapped from the prison.
Got you.
They are the Extractors. Because as far as I know,
I'm just going to go on a limb and say it could have been a better name.
yeah.
Call me crazy, but it didn't work for me.
Hey, settle
The
down.
Extractors. It's actually about blackheads.
I think
It's a long pimple popping video.
I think in all of them they break people out of prison or something.
Yeah. I've got a bit of information for you about Escape
good.
Plan, the series.
Because I actually don't feel like I got any information from the movie.
Which is a common comment that fans of Escape Plan 1 also have on IMDb.
Yeah, I actually have.
Believe it or not, there's not a real sense of like continuity with this film
I'm actually
compared to the others.
I don't know if I've ever been more baffled by a film, and I've watched Primer.
Give me what's your overall thoughts? Just like a quick like what did you think?
It's action movie gibberish. It's
Yes.
that is
it's
my
every trope under
summary.
the sun, and it fucking sucked.
It is the exact same strain of movies as things like Death Race, where it is just it's not even trying to be a movie. It doesn't at any point pretend like it's a good movie. Like it is just trying to do bro-y action gibberish, and it's the exact sort of shit that like my friends liked when I was 14, and I fucking hated it.
I've
You're
never
so
liked a
pressured
film
to go
less.
along with it.
I've never liked an action film less. It's almost broken my faith in the genre.
Also, the action sequences were bad.
They were terrible.
Really bad.
I also really struggled to see like the last third of the film because it was very dark. I struggled to understand the action happening.
It's incomprehensible. And again, for action movie gibberish, a shockingly high level of just people talking.
Yeah.
Just people talking.
Yeah, but you've got all the tropes. You've got Sylvester Stallone. You've got...
Trope number one.
Yeah, trope number one. You've got gadgets.
You've got gadgets.
They've got USBs. They're looking up shit on computers. They've got like official like they're talking to each other in this particular lingo, and they're making plans, but the plans all suck.
Yeah, way too much effort put into pretending like it's a real world thing that happens.
They have a team of people which comprises of a young blonde woman, 50 Cent, another
former
woman.
pro wrestler. In this case, it was Dave Bautista, but I feel like that's a common thing in a lot of action movies.
It was bananas. It was insane.
I love that 50 Cent is in it, and he's constantly referred to as just Curtis Jackson.
I
like that for him.
Yeah, I was shocked. I didn't realize it was 50 Cent until the end when I actually did the research, and I was like, what the fuck? That's insanity. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't the problem that I found in the film, but maybe we'll differ on this.
I would say he's the best part of the movie, and that's not a compliment. That's how I'd put it.
Oh, fuck. It was... I didn't like it. I really didn't like this one.
Just completely blindsided by how bad it was.
Completely bored by halfway through the film. And I will say, when I was going through IMDb's reviews, I did a thorough scan of the reviews because I thought this would be a very like fan-heavy review section, and it was, because people were quite devoted to the first Escape Plan, which I hear was okay.
On what level would you be? Why, if you're going to devote yourself, why this franchise? Why choose this one? Oh my God.
The demographic is definitely like 16-year-old men.
No, too old. 13, 12.
13-year-old men. But I did read that, yeah, like a lot of people were just obviously very disappointed by this film. And a lot of them turned it off halfway through. A lot of the reviews were, I got 45 minutes in and I tapped out. And I was like, I wish I could.
Living in bliss.
Absolutely. Let us join you.
Imagine being able
we
to
are
turn this movie
contractually
off.
obliged to
Legally.
finish the remaining 40 minutes, and yet...
If we don't, Jeff IMDb is going to come in and shoot us.
I think you mean the final boss baby of IMDb, by the way.
Boss baby.
We established the B in IMDb stands for boss baby, which is a tiny little IMDb baby that lives in like a weird ether universe who will trap you in movie posters.
If we're going with the canon universe, I'm already trapped in a poster.
You are. You're trapped in Michelle 2021.
This is I'm actually live broadcasting from inside IMDb, and it is hell.
The actual movie about this is that my friend is missing. She's been missing for weeks. I don't know where she is. We've been looking. I'm worried. I think she's dead. One day I'm on IMDb and I find her movie poster and I'm like, what? Inciting incident. We're like 5 or 10 minutes in.
I thought you were going to say she's been missing for weeks, but once a week, if you put a microphone on, you hear the voice.
Help me.
Yeah, no.
Help
It's the podcast. Hey, I thought that movie was pretty bad. I didn't enjoy it. And you're like, Michelle, where have you been? And yeah, Police Academy was not good.
But what I do after that is that when I find your movie poster, I look up where the IMDb headquarters are in Silicon Valley. Maybe. I don't know. I fly out there. I go to the IMDb headquarters and I too am faced with Boss Baby.
Nice.
Let the film begin.
Sunshine of your love.
I'm a sunshine. Man, I love Pink Floyd.
It is my favorite bit, is to start singing one song and then like actually start singing a different song.
And then attribute that song to the wrong band.
Like I used to, as a kid, love mashing up like jingles. So it'd be like da 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 Dominoes. I thought that was so funny when I was 14.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good bit.
Do you want the overview of this terrible, terrible film? Shall we dive in? Shall we take a dip or shall we dive?
And guys, audience, I want you to know this will be my first time hearing the plot of this movie.
And you paid full attention.
I did. I actually had to stop and start. I at one point had to check on Wikipedia. I was like, do I know what's happening? Like,
oh, I'm glad you said that, because I spent the whole film looking at the Wikipedia synopsis trying to follow it.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, okay, so that's happened, but I don't know if that is what happened. So I checked it and I was like, okay, no, that is, I think, what happened. Maybe. Hard to tell.
Tell me the overview.
Oh, this overview.
How did you decipher it?
I don't know if I did.
Give me your secrets.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. This film was actually really, really shat.
It's just Abigail the rhyme master is in.
I'm a creative writer. Watch me blossom. Overview. Daya, the daughter of the owner... I wrote this, by the way. This was a struggle. Daya, the daughter of the owner of Zhang Innovations, is kidnapped. The abductors leave Young, her bodyguard, unconscious with a USB addressed to our protagonist, Ray Breslin, who has been our protagonist of the last 2 Escape Plan movies. Breslin and Breslin's associates, his girlfriend Abigail, Hush, and Jules, are delivered the drive by Young and former bodyguard of Daya, Shen. It contains a video message from Lester Clark Jr., who, by the way, as a side note, was the son of the villain of the first film, who worked against the main character.
I think the reveal of that is meant to be like a third of the way in, and I didn't realize it until like 10 minutes before the ending.
Yeah, got you.
I was oh, that's why there's flashbacks of Vincent D'Onofrio.
I only got it because I had to look it up.
Okay.
I was like, I don't understand. But Vincent D'Onofrio was the villain of the first one. He was Breslin's partner who betrayed him.
Yeah.
So Breslin kills him at the end. This is the son of that partner, Lester Clark Jr. They trace the video to a prison compound in Latvia Abigail gets abducted, and Lester demands a $700 million ransom. Breslin and Mail Co. And I say Mail Co. because the two women are abducted. Depart for Latvia to rescue the women. Fucking fickle, hysterical women. Breslin infiltrates the compound through the sewers while Shen and Young approach the outer walls. Young and Shen are subdued and captured. Lester reveals the flash drive was a tracker that led his men straight to Abigail. Lester also figures out that Shen and Dyer are in love. Shen is her former bodyguard. He executes Young and cuts Abigail's throat. Breslin proceeds through the compound. Breslin is wounded and disarmed, but manages to overpower Lester before avenging Abigail. Dyer is saved and leaves with Shen. Breslin decides to retire. That's the best I could do.
Yeah. Okay. How did I miss? I would have laughed more if I noticed in the movie that the ransom is for $700 million.
Could have been more.
What an idiotically large ransom.
Well, at first it's $500 million, and then he's like, no, it's $700 million, and then he executes a hostage behind him.
It's just idiotically large for a hostage.
This film fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Also, just really quickly, I want to touch on Abigail as a character, because in the IMDb little summary of this film, it basically says that Breslin's girlfriend is also captured. Abigail is in every escape plan film, so her death is actually quite a major moment because she is like the main love interest.
I will say, I mean, say what you will about this movie, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, he really, like, the evil guy Lester slits her throat on camera and Breslin has to watch.
Isn't this cool and dark and emotional.
And then at the end of the film, Breslin gets Lester and he holds the knife to his throat and he's just like, this is what it was like.
Yeah.
This is what it felt like when you killed her. And then he slashes his throat.
He doesn't even say when you killed her. I noticed that in particular, he just like has him by the throat and just says, this is what it felt like. And then just cuts his throat and then just like fully throws him off like 10 flights of stairs.
This film was very gory and grisly, but it still wasn't cool.
Yeah, in the most like, isn't violence really cool?
Isn't it cool, kids?
But the way it was violent also looked like, I remember there was a particular era around like 2008, 2009 where YouTube was filled with people trying to make content that didn't just feel like it was in their bedroom.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of like tutorials on how to have a gun flare and a blood splatter on After Effects that looked a very distinct kind of way that was bad. This looked like that.
Yeah.
Every time there was just like a big gunshot and a weird splatter going.
That was also a comment about the film, is that a lot of people on IMDb were like, fuck, the CGI was awful.
Really?
Like, the effects were just terrible.
Actually, on the note of the violence I enjoyed from finally we're hilariously bad is the bit where Shen gets Dyer and then he's like surrounded by a bunch of guards who have guns and it seems like he's not going to get his way, and then he hears like, get down, and it's Dave Bautista behind him with some sort of large gun. It just looks like a large assault rifle, and then he fires it, and it looks like it's triple the size of a normal bullet. It goes like, boom, and it like explodes.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, by that point, I had mentally tapped out. I remember I saw that, and I just sighed. I was like, oh.
I was in my office watching it on a break, and I started laughing out loud. I was like, what's this? What is this?
I'll give you some general information about Escape Plan, by the way.
Please, I want anything to understand. I need to hold on to something.
It's not going to help, Michelle. It's not really going to make this film any better.
Yeah.
The first Escape Plan came out in 2013, and it was famous because it had Sylvester Stallone, very affectionately called Sly by his fans, and it had Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
And it was a buddy film, kind of, where like they both are trying to break out of a prison together.
Oh, so is Dave Bautista like the replacement for Schwarzenegger?
I think so, because he was in the second one as well, which I will get to, because the second one is apparently worse than this third one.
Wow.
I haven't checked yet, but I'm worried that the second one's going to appear on this list.
Oh my God.
Actually, can we hang on for a second? Okay. I need to know now. Escape Plan 2 is on the list. Escape Plan 2 has 3.9 stars out of 10 and has 30,000 reviews.
Guys, this is 2 weeks in a row we're watching a movie only to find out that another one from the same series is on this list.
Fucking hell.
I can't believe we were talking about the worst 250 movies of all time, and there's so many that have more than one entry.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
It's strange. It's almost like the movies that are franchises that don't know when to quit end up coming on this list a lot. Why don't you just make new content that's good, okay? Sequels are rarely good. Give it up.
This list is crazy because it'll be like, yeah, Police Academy 6 and 7, Escape Plan 3, and also Striptease, a movie that's trying so hard. And I'm like, come on.
No,
These
leave
are not the
Striptease
same.
out of it.
Vampire in Brooklyn deserved better.
It did. Ra 1, need I say more? All right. That film was ambitious. It was long. It had musical numbers.
2 traits, ambitious.
And long. That's how people describe me from time to time. So that was Escape Plan 1, right? But
Right.
Essentially the plot of it is that it's Arnie and Sylvester Stallone. It's Arnie and Sly. And they're in a prison together and they're trying to break out of it. The prison is a bunch of shipping containers in the middle of the ocean.
Oh.
Which you see in this film because that is where Lester Clark Sr., the villain of the first one, ends up. So in the first one, Lester Clark Sr. is the main character, Ray Breslin's partner. Like, he's his, like, work partner.
Yeah.
And he finds out at the end of the film that Lester Clark Sr. had betrayed him. So he puts him in the prison and he leaves him there to die.
Classic. I think this idea is really smart and clever, but it's actually the dumbest choice.
Yeah. So he figures out they're on a ship and they get rescued and it's a happy ending, but they get rescued via a helicopter. And a lot of people really liked the first Escape Plan. They were like, this is fun, this is cool, I love Sylvester Stallone, I love Arnie.
A lot of people really like Transformers.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
a lot of people are really dumb.
I don't think it was good, but people really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And then what happened was that about 6 years lapsed and 2 Escape Plans came out.
Hades, right?
Escape Plan 2 was called Hades, and this is obviously Escape Plan 3. They came out very close together.
Oh.
Escape Plan 2, when it was releasing, they were already filming Escape Plan 3. So I think there was a production deal where 2 was signed on and they made them instantly.
Wait, actually, this is the 3rd week in a row, where there's a sequel, because Highlander 3 and 2.
There you go. Oh my God.
Fuck?
What is this? Bad string, man. It's bad string. But we're getting like the entries in the franchise that are bad but not the worst. So they're just kind of miserably bad, not hilariously bad. But yeah, so that's like Escape Plan 2, I read the synopsis of, absorbed none of it, and refused to. But it seems very dull indeed, and no major plot points happened. Abigail is still present. By the way, Abigail in the first film is played by Amy Ryan, who was Holly from The Office.
Oh!
She was the original Abigail, and they did not get her back for the next 2, probably because she wasn't young enough.
What? Oh.
The woman who played Abigail...
I thought that you were going to say because she's an Emmy Award-winning actress.
She is. The woman who returned as Abigail is like 33 years the junior of Sylvester Stallone. She was born after the first Rocky had been made. Yeah.
Ew.
Gross, right?
At least they know how hot older women are?
Amy Ryan at least is a more suitable age for Sly.
I get, like, this is, again, there's more nuanced ways to discuss this. This is a comedy podcast. And for my comedy bit, my main problem is, like, you're casting younger women because you think they're hotter. Have you seen women in their 40s? Peaking.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, 100%. If you think Paul Rudd is getting hotter with age, fucking wake up, all right? Have you seen women getting hotter with age?
Oh, my God.
Ridiculous.
I saw Kim Cattrall in Police Academy, and she was hotter in Sex and the City, too.
Nice. Go off. Again, it's fucking beauty standards, man. Men are allowed to naturally age, but women have to stay young forever.
It's ridiculous.
Fuck off. I'm going to age so bad. My tits are going to sag everywhere. I hope you're all fucking ready. It's going to be hot. Anyway. What were we talking about?
That was a strange turn at the end.
I'm getting aggressive.
It's like we were driving down a road and you were like, let's go this way.
And I veer into a field.
Yeah. You changed lanes before veering back in and we're like, I don't know, don't worry. Forget about it.
Leave me and my saggy tits alone, all right? That's the history of Escape Plan, essentially,
Okay.
is that there was that first one that was a success, and then they made the next two that were absolute bombs. And Escape Plan 2 was obviously worse than Escape Plan 3.
These movies upset me just because I mentioned earlier it's the exact sort of movie that my friends would have liked when I was 14. And like, honestly, there's so much weird social pressure for teenage boys to like these sort of movies of like, they're violent and cool and shoot things. And also it ends up being a gateway into like obsession with the military and violence. And then increasingly that's used as a pipeline into more radicalized politics. But that's a different discussion. It's just... It made me feel uncomfortable, to be honest, because it just made me go like, I hate this. I hate this iteration of myself that would have watched this and pretended to like it when I was 14. And it makes me sad thinking about how one of my friends who watched it with me at the time was like 18 and like he still likes movies like this.
Yeah.
And I just... It's so obviously bad. It's so clearly bad. And I think movies like this only make money because of a perpetuation of... It's so funny that we coincidentally started talking about what we did at the beginning because it's just a perpetuation of toxic masculinity. There's no reason to like it other than it's cool and people die.
I know we do these reviews at the end, and we kind of make fun of people that like genuinely like these bad films. But every time I read them, I'm like... You're probably some teenager that's been misdirected in life already. Yeah. Like, you think that this really is cool. Like, especially the reviews that are left on inherently problematic films we've done. I'm like, you're probably some 15-year-old boy that is going to turn out to, like, you're going to go into the army or you're going to hit your girlfriend. Like, you're just going to be a fucked person.
You're going to tell me a 10 out of 10 review, and all I'm going to think the whole time is, I wish your mum just hugged you more so you didn't hate women.
100%. It's grim. It's another, again, the system is fucking everyone. You don't need to like, if you're a young man, you really don't need to like films like this. Like, please watch it completely objectively. Hey,
any young men listening, I can't believe you made it like 40 episodes in.
Yeah, we're two women. What are you doing here? That's crazy.
Made it 40 episodes in and already don't kind of believe this point was... I love the idea that it's just no young man will ever listen.
Nah.
But you don't need to like movies like this. You can like fun, dumb action movies. Speed is fucking fantastic.
Speed is the best.
Yeah, Die Hard's great. There are such good action movies that don't indulge in weird militaristic... Like, it's almost...
Don't settle for less.
It's a weird, I would describe it, obsession with death. Because it isn't killing things fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it kind of makes me sad.
Yeah.
Also, as a side note, just really quickly... This is also a movie that's very clearly like, hey, if we appeal to China, we'll make money from it, right?
That's what everyone said. They were like, this is some like Hong Kong suck-up fest.
Okay, well, it's also a US suck-up fest.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't think
100%.
it's bad because it's appeasing to the Chinese.
Listen, I couldn't find this information because these were direct-to-DVD movies.
Yeah. It's the second time.
The second time. So I couldn't find that much information, but I also suspect that there might be some Hong Kong production company behind them.
Obviously.
That is making them include these story elements.
They desperately wanted me to care about the Chinese characters. And jokes on them, I didn't care about either the Chinese or the American characters.
There was also like a really long thread about how like Dio, the girl who gets kidnapped at the start, her dad is the CEO of Zhang Innovations.
Is it ZH?
ZH.
Zhang
Innovations. And she finds out that it's like quite a corrupt company. And at the end, when she's reunited with her dad, she's like, I hate you. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what that thread was about.
Because she is meant to be the stand-in. You know how like modern nationalistic propaganda is really quite clever?
Yeah.
Like how a lot of Marvel movies are military propaganda and people go, no, but they're critical of the military. No, but they still make them seem fun, right? This is that version of the Chinese where they're trying to go, no, we're not corrupt, we're really cool. Because Daya at the beginning of the movie specifically is going to Ohio and says to her dad on the phone, no, they're hurting here. They want jobs. They want us to bring factories here and do that because we will help them. And the corrupt Chinese businessman says no. And so at the end, it's not... oh, this is the corrupt businessman. She goes, you specifically as an individual are corrupt and I will go help China bring prosperity to the US.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. That's how it's playing into Chinese nationalism.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for that, because I was like, what did I miss?
Yeah.
What is wrong with his company? Now I know.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous fucking film.
So weird.
Yeah,
This is what this movie does. It just turns your brain off.
I realized I was sitting there for 20 minutes with not a thought in my head. I was like looking at the screen, mentally, emotionally, physically tapped out.
Yeah.
Lying in bed, tears welling in my eyes.
It's like a brain worm that shuts you. I actually think if you showed this to if this was longer, legally it would be classified as anesthetic. Like, it had to be an hour 27 because the initial 125-minute cut actually turned people's brains off and put them into a coma.
100%. I can't even think of like an insane amount of standout moments, because a lot of it was fight scenes and then really drab scenes where they're making plans.
There's a number of scenes where characters go, there's a problem with this and we shouldn't go in, and then another character will go, I'm gonna do it anyway, and then they immediately face the consequences and get blown up and captured, and you're like, oh.
100%. I think we should have a project where we make an escape plan 4, but we actually try and do some justice to this franchise.
I disagree.
Yeah, because the first one was so good.
Yes. And
thank you. Don't block me here.
Yes, and
now you've committed yourself to writing a 120-page action film with me, starring Sylvester Stallone.
What if this time they're escaping from the belly of a dragon?
Ooh, fantastical. So at the beginning, Ray Breslin steps through a portal. He's in retirement. He's like kicking around. Abigail's dead. He's sad. Also, sorry, fucking hell. I just realized that his wife is literally called Abigail Breslin.
Weird choice.
What an odd choice.
Odd choice.
Sorry.
Especially for 2013.
Yeah.
This movie also feels outdated. Like, these sorts of movies were really popular in like 2006.
It really,
2013 is late for this kind of movie.
The first one was 2013.
Well, that's what I mean.
This was 2019.
This is 2019?
This was 2019.
This is one of the newest movies on the list?
Some general facts for
Holy
you. 2019,
fuck.
And it has 4.4 stars, by the way, so we're finally down to the 4.4s.
Ugh, boy, does it earn it.
And it was directed by John Herzfeld, who has done nothing, and written by Miles Chapman, who has done nothing.
I'm sure they're both just friends of Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, they've collaborated a couple of times.
Like, he just gets someone to do the thing that he's supposed to do.
But yeah, how about, the next escape plan 4? He's at home, he's depressed, Abigail Breslin is dead. And he's sitting there
both
in his tidy-whities, smacking his big lips, watching TV. And then he hears like zoom, and he walks into his kitchen.
What?
And there's just a portal, and it's open. And he's like,
"No, you got it. No. We made a promise.
What do I do?"
There we go. That's Rocky.
It's not.
That's Rocky.
It's not
baby.
problematic. I just want him to enunciate. I know he can. He chooses not to. He makes it. He leaves it up to us to guess what he's saying. It's like he's half asleep. He's pure comatose.
He is the Tommy Wiseau that made it.
But we need like a thematically resonant idea for this fourth one, because it's about grief. He's lost Abigail. He's lost the will to live. He's living in poverty. He's living in penury. He's lost all his money.
He enters the belly of the dragon because it's a really convoluted Joseph Campbell metaphor.
100%. Yeah. So he's stuck in the belly of the dragon. He goes through the portal and he's just looking at intestines. He's in I don't know how bodies work. He's in a stomach.
What? How are you this old and don't know how bodies work? What the fuck?
You got intestines in the stomach, right?
No. Oh.
And they all look like linked sausages.
Baby. Come on.
That you can pull out of your ass at any time.
No. Hey, sweet, gentle summer child.
If I'm stupid, it's because the public education system failed me, all right? Privatize education.
What the fuck?
No! No, so, yeah, and then he has to work his way out of the belly of the beast. But inside, it's full of the ghosts of his wife past. Abigail.
One.
Yeah, just the one.
One ghost.
Yeah. It's just him and her talking.
But
it's actually quite a drama.
They actually got Amy Ryan back for this one.
She's a bit older this time.
Yeah.
In death.
And she's like, "Hello." I don't know how to impersonate.
Hello. Why are you speaking like my mom?
Hello, Ray.
Hello, Abigail.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Would you like some tea?
Lovely.
Do you want some trivia?
I would really love nothing more than for trivia.
Well, I have some bad news because I only found 3 relevant items of trivia. Scratch that. No, yeah, 3.
Yeah.
I thought I had another one up my sleeve, but it was definitely included in the 3.
Weird turn. Complete opposite of Police Academy then.
You had so much, and I offer you so little. My hands are empty.
Yeah.
The film was shot in 4 weeks on a 20-day shooting schedule.
I can tell.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Yeah. There was one bit in that final fight sequence where I was like, this doesn't feel like a film anymore. There was a bit where it was just Sylvester and Lester beating the shit. Sorry, Sylvester and Lester were beating the shit out of each other. And I was like, what is the coverage on this?
Yeah.
This is severely dropped in quality. As I mentioned before, wow, one of my 3 pieces of trivia has already been brought up. Filming began before Escape Plan 2 was released. Also, I found out that Escape Plan 2 was also shot on a 20-day shooting schedule.
So they shot Escape Plan 2 and were like, I have confidence that this franchise is going to make its money back. Let's start on the next one.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
The opening production company logos last for 90 seconds.
Oh my God.
The end credits last 8 minutes and 45 seconds.
I thought it felt long.
Thus, 11.7% of this film is just production information.
11%.
Over a tenth of this film is production information.
Audience, it's not even 90 minutes, including the...
It's like 125.
That means, oh my... Oh,
It's insanity.
this is barely a movie.
I have some reviews. On Rotten Tomatoes, this film has an approval rating of 25%. That seems high.
It's higher than Police Academy 4 through 7.
Which are at a solid 0. This review was left by Andrew Gaudion for The Hollywood News. Largely a waste of time and talent.
Yeah.
This is also a review left by...
Wait. Not talent. I think everyone is as talented as this movie, except Dave
This film
Bautista was okay in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was
And hey,
funny.
50 Cent was present.
Yeah, he was present, wasn't he?
Oggs Cruz for The Rappler left this review. And by the way, it was really hard to find good critic reviews because no one wanted to watch this film.
Yeah.
It is all set up and no follow through. While there is action, it is too late, too few, and too unremarkable to make any dent.
Agreed.
And this is a review from IMDb. It's the only review I'm choosing from IMDb, but that is because it's very long. It's a 9 out of 10 review left by Javier Garcon, and the subject line is, read this review and the other reviews are bots. I'm getting tired of these bots. These reviewers are not even expert critiques, yet alone have never worked in the industry, so they do not have any idea what it takes to build a set, act, or even direct.
Yeah.
Shame on them.
No, that you're right.
Now on to the movie review. First, the score of music is fantastic and on point. Unlike the last 2, they were okay, but finally Stallone found the right combination.
Yep.
Some critics say the director was okay, but some of you do not know this, but Stallone does it all and puts most of his money into these movies. The characters get better and better, and to tell you the truth, Sylvester Stallone is a network engineer, to say the least. He is always able to get really good actors to act in his movies. The camera director was on point. Great drone coverage, very good movement. I was able to see the details even when it was supposed to be blurry. I hate blurry movies. That's all you see of his bunch of
Same.
struggling, and then you lose me. 50 Cent had a small role, this time where he was filmed separate from the rest of the crew. Trivia. Chances are 50 Cent has been busy. That's okay, because the real star sidekick of this movie was Jin Zhang. 45 years old. Moves of a 20-year-old. Reminds me of Jackie Chan. And Jet Li. Dave Bautista is back, like always, and finds time to film in between Marvel and Guardian of the Galaxies, which comes out in 2020. Is the last of the franchise. It is unfortunate because I love this franchise, and it can keep going like Fast and the Furious. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a huge following that Fast and the Furious has, and thus the end of a good idea. Devon Sawa seemed to be a good bad guy in this movie, but he really didn't give me the serious bad guy vibe that is seeking revenge at every corner. I would have gone a big finally where where Stallone could have lost his house, blown up, planes, his building and everything that made the company what it is today because of his father helping him build it.
I love a big finally where you lose your house.
And planes. Then finally, the end would be the same. And of course, Sylvester Stallone becomes Rambo all over again. ... South America ... If you didn't get that joke, then you need to keep up with the Rambo franchise because they are all connected in some way.
Oh my God.
9 out of 10.
That review was longer than the movie.
Yet far more
I
engaging.
can follow it as good as the movie. I love, but he's right. The movie did both build sets and was in focus.
I agree, though. It should have had a house blowing up and more planes.
He's right, though, because, like, killing his wife, losing his house, that's a big finally.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. South America, ... You don't get what I'm talking about.
So many, I can't.
Thank you for bearing with me for that review, but I did think it was vital, and I agree.
I feel like I'm infested with brainworms.
I know I should ask you first, but my review is definitely similar, 9 out of 10, but it could have done with planes and houses blowing up.
Could have done with more houses blowing up.
But
it was in focus. It did build sets, and that is hard.
What would you give it out of 10, Michelle?
Listen, here's the thing. When I was...
Hang on.
What I really want the listener to understand is it sounds like you're doing a bit, like you're intentionally doing a crazy burp, but I know you aren't. That is just you burping.
Crazy burp, the cousin of Crazy Frog.
No.
I don't know why I said that. What's your rating?
Here's the thing. When I was in film school, there was this student whose name I won't mention, but I had this student who was notably really, really bad. I think you know who I'm talking about. Her films were really, really famously bad. And sometimes people were mean about it in a way that was unfair. And also sometimes she really brought it on herself in a really odd, strange way. She was an enigma of a human being, just completely ununderstandable.
And that woman today, Sylvester Stallone. So it really makes you think. 9 out of 10.
When we did, for her first like 10-minute film, she did like a big action set piece. And it was god awful. One of the worst things I've ever had to watch with my own two eyes. I wish I still had a copy of it somewhere, even though it would be arguably cruel to just make fun of someone else's artistic work when they're a student and they're still learning. To her credit, though, I do think all the time, though, about like, it was bad, but I don't know if any of us were more ambitious than her in how much she... Like, it was a full spy story with costume changes, a giant... Like, somehow she had access to money and hired, like, stunt coordinators for a full, like, 8-person stunt sequence at the end of this 12-minute short. I don't know how she did it. But it was incomprehensible and just inarguably bad. But this compares unfavorably to that. It feels like the same energy. It feels like she went on to make this movie. But I think that was more ambitious because it was a 12-minute short and this was a 90-minute movie, less than 90-minute movie made by an incredibly successful, famous actor who surely could have in any way improved this.
They effectively delivered the same thing.
I'm going to give this my first 0. I think it's a 0 out of 10.
Yeah,
I
okay.
really hate it.
I'm kind of on the same page with you there. I was considering giving it a proper 0.
I'm baffled by how bad this is.
I think there was a couple of moments where I was like, all right, there's a bit of pace and I kind of know what's going on. But that was only for the first 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Maybe, if that. I will give it a 0.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Very similarly, for the same reasons. It was excruciating to watch.
I've watched so many bad movies as a kid with my mum for fun, as a teenager from weird peer pressure, and now I'm obsessed with bad movies. And I'm still surprised by how bad this was. Just shocking. That was Escape Plan 3. Don't forget to follow us on social media if you can. You can find us on Twitter at RateDescendPod. Or you can follow us personally. You can find me on Twitter and Insta under michelle.stclair.
And you can find me on Insta under super cool hot sexy girl who is like super rad and stuff.
And don't forget to drop us a review on Apple Podcasts. It really does genuinely help. We don't just mean that.
It's Abigail J. Wood, by the way.
Yeah.
What are we watching next week, Michelle?
I think you're going to be happy because next week we are watching God's Not Dead 2.
Oh boy, back to our roots.
Yeah, back to our roots with horrible... I can't wait to see what minorities they pick on.
I'm ready for more debates.
villainize.
I'm ready for more drama. I'm ready for more deaths where it's actually good that they died because now Jesus can save them. I'm ready. Catch you next week, man.
You can join us with JC next week. That's Jesus Christ.
Amen.